guys, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Welcome back to the Beer Knits podcast. This is episode 4. If you are a new viewer, I'm glad you're checking me out and I hope you like what you see. So pull up your beverage of choice. For me, it is going to be a Breckenridge Brewery Autumn Ale. This is what the bottle looks like. Very, very fall-like, which, as we know, fall is my favorite season. So most of the beers that I've been featuring at the moment are seasonal, meaning lots of pumpkins or autumn ales in this case. As we get into winter, I might switch. I don't really like winter ales that much, but I'll experiment. I'll take one for the team and let you know how it goes. So this bottle was $3.50. This beer is from Colorado. A lot of good things do come out of Colorado, as maybe you know, but especially some pretty decent beers. This particular beer is, of course, their fall seasonal. They combine it with the quote-unquote malty goodness of a German lager with the clean crispness of an American ale. Their website says that it is brewed with Munich malts, so of course anything in Germany, you know it's going to be good. Munich malts and a delicate blend of Bavarian hops. So the thing with hops, like I said last week, I'm really not a fan of things that are super hoppy. This is not really hoppy. I mean, you can still tell that it's beer, but it's not really super dupery hoppy. They refer to it as a full-bodied treat with a nutty sweet middle, a warming alcohol level, and notes of toasted grains. So you can tell that it is, I don't know, it's really thick. Like when it first started to pour out, I told my husband that it seemed like it was very syrupy, and it doesn't taste syrupy because it's not. It looks like it's really thick, like syrupy. Like maybe even it looks a little more on the stouty side, just with not as much head. Anywho, it is delicious, and I highly recommend it. Again, this bottle was $3.50, so, you know, not too bad. That's usually the running price of a bottle for the good stuff. Yeah, I'm fairly amused. I will probably pick this up again as long as it is still fall when I'm in the mood for it. Alright, so starting off with bottled, as I mentioned previously, have a lot of good stuff going on with my knit and crochet business, and some of that good stuff involves me having to write a bunch of patterns. And the first deadline for that is next Friday, October 31st. So I have been making stuff, writing stuff, working with a couple pattern testers like it's going out of style. So yeah, I've had a lot going on that front. I did finish the projects that I was hoping to finish, and I got the patterns written down. The first one has now been tested by 2 people who said that the pattern was fine. The one tester just gave me maybe some advice to make the edging stronger, and I'll show you what I mean. So a couple weeks ago I showed you a round dishcloth, and I really liked the construction of it, and I wanted to play around with it, so I made up my own. And the goal was to, I mean, what I'm going to be doing with these patterns is, you know, seasonal things, and so my idea using this product was to do something like you'd have it out at your Thanksgiving table or something. Since this isn't going to be published in November, I couldn't really do like Halloween stuff. So I did this, and it reminded me of like an autumn sun or autumn colors, so I'm calling it the Autumnal Sun Dishcloth Coaster whatever doohickey. I'm not sure. Okay, so I did the round dishcloth, which is, you know, your standard, you make wedges. I think altogether there are 9 wedges, and they form a circle, and then you seam it, and you use the Kitchener stitch to graft it together. There is a specific garter stitch method of doing this, and so that's what I did. And then around the edges, I picked up and knit in the circle and then added a picot bind off. And I made them pretty long. Like, you don't have to make them as long as I did, which I do mention in the pattern if you don't like it, because I'm still kind of undecided. But, you know, I'll insert a picture so you can see what it kind of looks like on display, and it doesn't look that bad. I do like the way it turned out. I mean, it's stupid for me to say that I don't. I'm just still kind of unsure about the peacoats. But when it's laying down and it's surrounded by things, and like maybe you have a couple of them down as like little placemats under, I don't know, bowls at a meal or something on a fall themed table, then yeah, it looks really cute. When I'm holding it here like this, it looks just silly in some ways. But I didn't weave in ends because I don't do that, apparently, but I will. The next pattern that I wrote is just a simple hat. I used Red Heart Shimmer in the cherry colorway, and you can see that it has a little bit of sparkle. I really do like the Red Heart Shimmer yarns because the sparkle it's not scratchy and it's not blatant. Like, it's a little more subtle, you know, like it's there, but it's not like there's a silver thread woven through red and it doesn't stand out as obnoxiously as maybe some other sparkly yarns, which I still do love, but I mean, there's just something about the shimmer, and then the quality of the yarn is really nice for an acrylic, so I really like it. And what I did was, I knew I wanted to make a knitted hat pattern because I do a lot of crochet hat patterns, but not a lot of knitted ones. So not only did I want to do it for this project that I'm working on, but I also wanted to kind of expand my skills and see what I'm capable of. So that's what I did. I went to one of my stitch books, found one that I liked. It was called like an eyelet something or other. And I altered it so that you could work it in the round, and then, you know, I did the whole hat, and then once it reached certain points, I figured out some decreases that I'm still not sure if I really like the way the decreases turned out, but they're not bad. And actually, they look worse on camera than they do in real life. Of course, why wouldn't they? I'm trying to tell you to go and get this pattern, so this is gonna look hideous. Yeah, overall I like it, and it fits pretty well. So that's what it looks like on, and I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I think other people might like making it too, because it looks like it's a cable, but it's not a cable, so you don't have to worry about making cables, because cables can suck. It's not like they're difficult to do. They can just be like a pain in the butt sometimes. So I don't know. I'm like super happy with this. So yeah, this pattern is being tested right now, and so it's written. I just have to take the picture of it at this moment. I'll probably have the pictures done by the time I go to post this, so I can insert it. But then this will be available for free as well, and post on Ravelry, and I'll let you know all this good stuff. It'll be on my blog too, which will be linked down below, yada yada, so you can see it then. But like, I keep looking at it, because every time you turn it, like, gets all sparkly and pretty, and it makes me happy. And I don't know, I really like it the more I look at it. God, I am so proud of myself. Other stuff I finished was a navy blue knitted headband with a gold flower, as well as a pink knitted headband with a pink flower. Both were for children, and I think I took pictures of them, so I will put that in here. And I like the way that they turned out. I don't think I like making things that can't be done on circulars. I mean, I know I could have done magic loop, and I did on the first one, but then I screwed it up. And magic loop, man, I don't know what it is. Like, I can do it, it just seems to take me forever. And I'm sure that once I keep doing it, I'll get faster, just like knitting in general, crocheting in general. Like, the more you do it, the better you get. But like, for God's sake, it just, I don't know, like, I'm used to these headbands being able to be whipped up in like an hour or 2 hours or so, and it just seems like it adds length to the process. I don't know, but yeah, so I finished those. I finished that Cabbage Patch inspired pigtail hat that I showed you I had started last week. And I have another one of those to make over the weekend, and I have another black knitted headband to make over the weekend. So those will be shipping out Monday, and then I have a bunch of other stuff to do, which I'll kind of be talking about later on when I talk about some of the books I just got that I'm going to share with you. So yeah, there's that. I have been a busy bee. In brewing, which are current projects, I of course have the Super Mario Brothers inspired star blanket, which I have gotten nowhere on. So I'm not even going to show you, like, there's no change in it since last week. I do have a friend coming to visit me this weekend, and literally all we're going to do is eat and play with yarn. We're going to go yarn shopping, and I imagine at some point I will be sitting fat on a couch crocheting on this blanket. So hopefully I will have some progress to show you next week. I'm trying to hold myself a little bit accountable here. I also have my Mystic Spiral socks, which I think I showed the beginning of last week. I haven't knit on these for a couple nights now because I've been having like a little bit of wrist pain, and then I wanted to concentrate on working on that hat and the dishcloth so I could get the pattern done and out and tested before the deadline of October 31st. So yeah, I haven't knit on these in a couple days. But here's how it's coming along. I don't know how I feel about them. I think, first of all, it's going to be too big. And if I were to make them again, I would probably go down to a size 0 needle. And then I also don't know what's going on here, but it's like bumping out weirdly. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that, but that's what it's doing. Yeah, it might fix itself. I think it will fix itself. Like right now I'm just kind of on a weird section where the angle's starting to even back out again before going into a different type of pattern. So I think that's kind of what's going on there. If anyone else has made this, please tell me if I'm just being stupid. And yeah, so that's the front. That's the back. Overall, I think they're coming out okay. And I do really like the Addy Turbo sock rockets. And I did buy another pair in size 0 because as I was working on these, I could tell that they were going to be too big. But I'm going to keep working on them anyway because I don't know. It'll just be cool to have a pair done and get experience with them, even if I don't necessarily wear them anywhere but outside the house, or give them to my mom or something like that. Because my mom and I are kind of the same foot size, but you never know. I'll ask her if she'll wear them if they end up being a little too big on me. But overall, I do like the way these socks seem to work up in self-striping yarn. And this is the Noro Tayo sock yarn that I showed you last week in color number S3. So I do have that linked on my Ravelry page if you want to check it out. But yeah, this is definitely a great pattern for self-striping yarn because it's not like your typical stripes going around and around and around and around. Like the stripes are going to do different things. And some of them that I've seen have been very stripey and there are stripes going everywhere. But the Noro yarn, because it's a gradual stripe, you get the chunks. And the color of the Noro is so pretty. Like eventually I'm going to hit like some greens and whatnots. So I am happy with them. I just kind of dread working on them because I'm at a weird section right now where you're working back and forth, but it's on magic loop and I don't want to move the stitches around. And so it's just taking me forever to move the cord where I need it to move. And finally, the last thing that I've been working on isn't knitting or crocheting at all. I have been watching the Stitch Addiction podcast and kind of interacting a little bit because if you haven't watched it, she makes really amazing hand spindled yarn. She doesn't have a wheel, it's all drop spindle. And she says that she's new at it, but you wouldn't be able to tell from what she shows every week. So I kind of asked her for advice because I had this issue with my drop spindle, where it just kept pulling and pulling and pulling and making like these humongous chunks of yarn, and I just was not getting it. Anyway, she showed how, and I tried it again, like very slowly, and now I have the opposite problem where I'm spinning the yarn so fine that it constantly breaks. But it's progress because I'm able to see what I'm drafting and kind of feel what's going on, so I can predict how it's going to spin, and I'm learning how to fix the problems that I'm running into. So I still consider myself in a better place than I was before she posted how she did it. And she also gave me the confidence to go back and try it again, because I had been watching videos and paying way too much attention to how these other people were doing it, as opposed to just kind of diving in and getting my own rhythm with it and figuring it out for myself. And sometimes the best way to learn how to do something is to just start doing it. And that's the type of learner that I am, so I'm not sure why I was freaking out so much. Because now that I'm doing it and figuring it out for myself, I think I'm doing a much better job. And this is from a kit that I got a while ago. That's not like a good example. But yeah, you can see that it's fairly even. I'm surprised. I'm shocked and surprised at how I was able to get it to be as even as it is. There is twist in it. Like, this would make for a nice 2-ply or even 3-ply if I were to do anything with it. Which I probably won't, but practice on. Yeah, there's like a big clump that I'm talking about right there. But, I mean, you can see, like, I mean, clearly you haven't seen what I've done before because I've been so embarrassed. But this is progress, people. This is some wacky nuts, crazy people progress right here. So I've been doing a little bit of that at night, like after my wrists start to get tired and start hurting, I'll maybe drop spindle a little bit, because I think it's fun and I've enjoyed the learning process with that, and I'm excited to see what I can do. And also another reason that I'm doing it is because there are some beautiful fibers available that once I get good enough on this practice fiber that I have, like, I'm totally probably going to go like balls to the walls with buying fiber to make some gorgeous yarn. Okay, stash enhancement. We have a lot of stuff to show this week because I don't just have yarn. I have some other like books and supplies to share with you that I'm excited about. So I'll get like some of the basic stuff out of the way. I got a skein of Karen Simply Soft and Black because someone ordered a knit headband. So I did want to say that people in general, like I really enjoy working with the nicer fibers. I can't sell anything made from the nicer fibers. So I consider myself to be a connoisseur of the acrylics. And I have spent a lot of years experimenting with different acrylics to find good yarn, good acrylic yarn in a decent price range where I could actually make profit on the stuff that I sell. Because you just can't do it like making stuff out of Madeline Tosh, because you'd have to sell it for like $100, like a simple hat, just to make any type of profit on it once you put in the time and the cost of the yarn and other supplies and your sunk costs even, which you don't really care about because they're sunk, but still, like, you need to make up for it somewhere. So I consider Karen one of those like go-to yarns for me because they are soft. They will work for a variety of people. You don't have to worry about people's allergies. That's another reason why I like making stuff out of acrylic for people who order stuff from my shop, is because a lot of people don't even know that they're allergic to things like wool, like the different types of wool. They don't necessarily know. A friend of mine knows that she is allergic to Angora only because someone bought her yarn, like Angora yarn. And that's just how it is. So, I mean, if you're making something to sell and people don't know, then they start emailing you. What do? I want my money back. Well, I don't feel like dealing with that. Like, it's kind of a selfish reason, because honestly, I don't care about if people are allergic to other stuff. If you want to order it and have me make it for you, then that's fine. But then I don't want to have to respond to your 500,000 emails because you didn't know that you were allergic to something. Sorry, bad customer service maybe, I don't know. but for business purposes, it just makes more sense for me to use acrylics. So that's why I always go to things like Karen or Red Heart Soft or things like that for items that I sell in my shop. And that is why I stick to acrylics. Then I also picked up some Red Heart Shimmer in turquoise because I love Red Heart Shimmer, as I mentioned. And another pattern of mine, the really easy slouchy beanie that's on my website. A lot of people keep asking for my personal gauge, but all of the hats that I've made, all the really easy slouchy beanies that I've made have been sold. So I don't have them around to test my gauge. So I picked this up because I was in the store and I had a coupon. So I bought it, and I'm going to make a really easy slouchy beanie out of it, and I'm going to measure it and give everyone my gauge. And hopefully that'll help answer some questions, because people, they're using different types of yarns, and especially if you're using something like Red Heart Super Saver, which is clearly not as thin as Red Heart Shimmer, it's going to lead to different results. And I have to keep explaining it. So hopefully once I get the gauge going, then that'll help people figure out how they need to alter the pattern for their own purposes and the type of yarn that they have on hand. All right, so the goodness is my Desert Vista Dye Works is here. So this is in the colorway If They Kill Rick, which is, of course, after The Walking Dead, and it is phenomenal. I believe it is, I want to say that on the website it said like 4 color striping, but it seems like there are a lot more than 4 colors on here. It is 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon fingering, weight approximately 462 yards. So it is great. This is my first hank of Desert Vista Dye Works. I'm excited to start using it someday, somehow, somewhere, in whatever project I choose to use it on, and it is beautiful. And I feel like I do this in every episode of the podcast. It's worth it. But yes, it is beautiful. That is the first hank of beautiful yarn that I have to show you. Then I had a gift certificate to Knit Picks, because a while ago I had bought, it's like a blocking kit, and it came with a whole bunch of supplies and also $30 to use towards yarn. And I didn't realize it at the time that I bought it, and it's been sitting in my craft room forever. Well, I was doing some cleaning the other day and came across it. So off I went, and I got the Knit Picks Stroll Fingering Weight in Lullaby Hand Painted. And that's what that looks like. And it is so super soft and beautiful. And it's all types of blues and turquoises and purples. Not completely unlike the Noro yarn I already have. So, things I realized just now. In any event, it is wonderful. It is also 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon, 462 yards. So that is beautiful. Excited to use that. I also got Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in Summer Blooms Tonal because it was pink. And there are a lot of you who really do not like pink, but I love pink. And if you ever want to get rid of your pink, or if anyone ever gifts you pink and you don't want it, you can send it to me, because I will adopt all of the pink. I'm not afraid. So, and it is so soft and cloudy and squishy and wunderbar, and I love it. And the last one I got is a little bit different for me. It's the Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering in the Laurelhurst colorway, and it's different because I don't usually work with greens or neutral toned anythings. So yeah, this is very like Mother Earthy compared to what I work with. I work with a lot of, you've seen bright colors, sparkly things, jewel tones. So this is much more like I'm communing with nature. So that's kind of why I got it, because it was a little bit different. This is 80% superwash fine Highland wool and 20% polyamide. Can James Dancing Geek, the chemistry guru, pronounce that for me? And it is 357 yards. I only say that about James because I'm pretty sure he said that in one of his podcast episodes. If not, correct me, but I'm pretty sure he did, and I need help. Edited to add the next day, I received in the mail this amazing yarn that I ordered recently, and it just came in today, and I didn't want to wait until next week or whenever the next time I posted, just in case I didn't get a chance to post next week. But it is this. It is called Cloudy with a Chains of Rainbows, and it is fabulous. I ordered it from Manic Pixie Dream Yarn. It is her holly base, which is approximately 80% superwash merino and 20% silk. It is so smooth and soft, and I mean, let's be honest, it is beautiful. And it's made in Loveland, Colorado. Something else in this episode, made in Colorado. Apparently, Colorado's got some good things going. And she gives you like a little goodie bag. I got a ring pop and pixie sticks, which I'm going to take back to work with me this afternoon so I can stay awake for the next 4 hours. Because, yeah, things are a little crazy and I could use a little pick-me-up. So, here's her card, Manic Pixie Dream Yarns, and her shop, Manic Pixie Dream Yarn, sorry, and that's what she is on Etsy as well. And of course, my webcam doesn't focus, but you get the point. And that is it. One last look at the beauteousness before I leave you. There it is. I'm so super happy and very excited. This might actually be what I knit up on the plane. This might have to be it. Like, now that I see it in person. It was beautiful online, and my dog is barking because I'm sure someone is walking down the street. This might have to be what I take with me. It's so beautiful. Okay, anyway, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Updates from the brew house. Life in general is still going nuts. In 2 weeks, it'll all be over. All this trade show stuff. I must have spent 2 hours on the phone yesterday trying to sort out hotel junk with these hotels in Las Vegas, and they're still not sorted out. So basically that's eating up my life right now, is sitting on the phone with hotels. It's kind of making me nuts. And like I said, I have my friend coming this weekend. She's gonna come Saturday morning, and we're going to sit around and craft and eat guacamole. At least I am. Like, I bought a bunch of snacks, and then we're going to go yarn shopping, and then we're going to go beer shopping because she and her husband like beer too. And then we have dinner reservations at one of my favorite local restaurants. And then after that, I don't know, we might just lounge there. We might hit up another local bar that I like or something like that. And then she's going to spend the night, so that'll be nice. And then coming up pretty much all next week, I'm going to be getting ready for these trade shows. And then I fly out on November 1st. Yay. And it's to a point now where I want it to happen. Like, I'm not even ready for it, but I want it to happen because I'm tired of managing it. And you can tell because it's kind of all I talk about right now. But I think it'll be fine. I've done a lot of work for it. It's a crazy week. It is a crazy week out there. Anyway, that is it for me. I hope you're all having a great week as well. I hope you all have a delicious drink to enjoy and lots of time for crafting. And I might post next Friday. I'm not really sure. Kind of depends where I am in regards to packing and that type of stuff. And anyway, I hope I see you again soon. If I'm not around next week, it'll all be around in 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah, so I will see you then. Until then, cheers and have a fabulous weekend. Bye.